Okay, so we're going to dive into some pretty sensitive territory today.
Yeah.
There's a lawsuit that was just filed, and it involves Ann Altman.
Okay.
And you probably recognize that last name because she's suing her brother, Sam Altman, who is, as I'm sure you know, the CEO of OpenAI.
Right.
So it's pretty heavy stuff, and we're going to lay out all the facts as objectively as we possibly can.
For sure.
But, we want to acknowledge right up front that this is a really delicate situation.
Absolutely.
Because at the core of this lawsuit, we're dealing with some very serious accusations.
Right.
Ann Altman is alleging that her brother, Sam, sexually abused her. And this allegedly went on for a period of years during their childhood.
Wow.
Yeah. And Sam Altman, he completely denies all of these accusations.
Okay, so we've got a he said, she said situation, it sounds like.
Exactly. And to help us sort of untangle all of this and understand the complexities, we have an expert with us today who can provide some really important context and legal insights. So welcome to the show.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
So let's just jump right in. This lawsuit, it was filed just this week, right?
Yeah, Monday.
Monday, okay. And it was filed in federal court in Missouri.
That's correct.
Okay. And just reading through it, it paints a very disturbing picture.
Yeah.
According to the lawsuit, this alleged abuse, it took place at the family home in Clayton, Missouri. And it covers a time frame of approximately 1997 to 2006.
Okay.
So we're talking a number of years here. And the lawsuit claims that the abuse actually began when Ann was just 3 years old.
Wow. And how old was Sam at that time?
The lawsuit states that Sam was 12 when the alleged abuse began.
Okay.
So you have a significant age gap there.
Huge.
And it also gets into the nature of the alleged abuse, mentioning forced sexual assault and battery. Yeah, I mean, those are incredibly serious accusations. And I think before we go any further, it's probably helpful to just define some of these legal terms so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, good idea.
So can you, just briefly explain what exactly constitutes sexual assault and battery, legally speaking?
Sure. So sexual assault is a pretty broad term, and it encompasses any type of sexual contact that happens without consent. So, that can range from unwanted touching to rape. Battery, on the other hand, refers specifically to the unlawful use of force against another person.
Okay, so in a case like this, given that we're dealing with allegations from, so long ago, how difficult is it to actually prove or disprove these types of accusations?
Well, it's definitely going to be really challenging, especially with the amount of time that's passed since the alleged events took place. Memories fade, evidence can be lost. It just makes it a lot harder to establish the facts with any certainty.
And then there's the whole issue of the statute of limitations, right?
Exactly. Each state has its own laws that set specific time limits for how long someone has to file a lawsuit for certain types of offenses. And, those limits can vary depending on the nature of the crime and other factors.
So, is it even possible that the statute of limitations could come into play here and potentially prevent this case from moving forward?
Yeah, it's definitely something that could be a factor, but to be honest, it's really too early to tell for sure.
Right.
We'll have to see how the legal arguments play out.
Okay, so, obviously this is a developing situation, but even at this early stage, it's hard not to wonder about the potential fallout, for both parties involved.
Right.
Sam Altman, he's a very prominent figure in the tech world, and OpenAI is right at the forefront of AI development.
For sure.
So how do you think this lawsuit might impact their trajectory, both for Sam personally and for the company as a whole?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure how this is all going to play out, but we have seen situations like this before in the tech industry where high-profile CEOs have stepped down, at least temporarily, while they're dealing with legal issues or just to protect the company's reputation.
Yeah, and it seems like there's almost this parallel legal battle happening in the court of public opinion, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So how much weight do you think those public perceptions carry, especially in a field as fast-moving and image-conscious as tech?
I think it's huge. News travels so fast these days, and public opinion can really make or break a company, even if Sam Altman is ultimately found innocent of all charges.
Right.
the damage to his reputation and to OpenAI's brand could be significant.
Yeah, so that raises a lot of questions about leadership and the future of OpenAI.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they can weather this storm?
Well, it depends. It'll depend on a lot of factors, how the legal case unfolds, how they handle the PR side of things, whether they choose to be proactive and address these allegations head on.
Right.
Or if they kind of take a more, wait and see approach.
And, I mean, beyond the immediate implications for OpenAI, this situation also shines a light on a much broader issue.
For sure.
The issue of childhood abuse.
Absolutely.
And it's a powerful reminder of how important it is to believe survivors.
Yes.
And to create environments where they feel safe coming forward and sharing their experiences.
100%.
I mean, these conversations, they're so crucial if we're going to foster a culture of accountability and support for survivors.
Couldn't agree more.
So, I mean, regardless of how this particular case unfolds, I think it forces us to confront this much larger issue that impacts countless lives.
It really does.
Yeah. So, as we continue to follow this story, I think it's really important to keep a few things in mind. First and foremost, we need to be mindful of the potential impact this is having on everyone involved, both Anne and Sam Altman, their families, the people who work at OpenAI. This is a real-life situation with very real consequences.
Absolutely.
And secondly, I think we need to consume media responsibly, make sure we're getting our information from reputable sources,
right?
Avoid spreading misinformation, and just generally approach this whole situation with sensitivity and respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the headlines and the speculation, but at the end of the day, these are real people's lives we're talking about.
Exactly.
And we need to treat this situation with the gravity it deserves.
Couldn't agree more. This is a developing story with a lot of unknowns. So we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on it, and we'll be sure to keep you updated as things progress.
Sounds good.
But in the meantime, we encourage you to stay informed, do your own research, and seek out those reputable sources for further information.
Yeah.
Good advice.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.